Welcome folks to another Premodern video, and to you I bring the spice today. And we could name this deck Bug Control, Sultai Control for the new kids, or you can just name this deck an idea that Fran had because he really wanted to win matches of Magic using Morphling. Back in the day, Morphling was like a sick card, like an absolute banger of a creature. People call this the best creature ever printed, and it was at the time because that's how bad creatures were. But it's such a fun creature that I never got to play with. So now we're gonna get to do it, and I built this entire deck around two principles. Number one, I wanted to win matches with Morphling. Number two, Pernicious Deed is, in my opinion, the best card in the format that is not seen enough play because it doesn't have a good shell to be played in. So my idea was to try to see if I can make a good shell for Pernicious Deed to shine. And what I thought of is just a bug control deck. So base blue control deck with counter spells, mana leak prohibit, and actual counter spell, of course. Some card advantage with accumulated knowledge, factor fiction, some removal in diabolic edict, smother, innocent blood, some discard spells with duress, and then a singleton copy of Naturalize and a couple of copies of Gaia's Blessing to round things out. And this is just like a control deck with pretty bad mana, granted. We only have like 10 green sources, we have 19 blue sources, counting the reflecting pools, and then we have, I think, 14 black sources. So mana count is not super good, but we should be able to, as long as we have our card advantage going with accumulated knowledge and factor fiction, that should help us fix that issue. And obviously we want to cast black spells in the early game, but we don't necessarily need to be casting our green spells in the early game. This is more of our closers than anything else, or like our board control. You're kind of looking to play Deed on turn 5, where you just play it and then pop it in the same turn to blow up your opponent's board. That's kind of what we're trying to do. So that is the idea. That's the concept that we're trying to work with. And sure, the mana base was a pain to figure out, and even still, I'm pretty sure that it has to be misbuilt. I don't know if we can actually afford to play this singleton Trade-Up Village. I don't know if we should be playing more Grand Coliseums or like City of Brass over Grand Coliseum, but like that's the kind of stuff that I want to be figuring out throughout this league. In this sideboard, we have, of course, like a bunch of different cards that are good in different matchups. Hydroblasts, of course, and actually mainstay of the format, and of course of blue decks in particular. Annul, singleton copy, because I'm also splitting alongside Naturalize, so Annuls and Naturalize as well. 3 copies of Engineer Plague. This card is an absolute banger against all the tribal decks, and even stuff like Sly Engineer Plague can be pretty solid against. Smother, Diabolic Edict, some extra copies of our albeit narrow removal spells. But I wanted to make sure that I had access to some way to answer cards out of Oath decks and Reanimator decks, so that's why I'm playing 3 copies of Edict. And then Smother to deal with smaller creatures, to deal with dreadnoughts and whatnot. A 4th copy of Duress in the sideboard, and then Cremate and Tormod as Graveyard Hate. This is obviously for the Hermit decks, for the Reanimator decks and whatnot. So this is the deck we're going to be playing in these bi-weeks. Can you even say that? In this Premodern League, we're going to see how it goes. Hopefully it goes well, because I really want to win a match or two thanks to Superman, the best creature ever printed. But that may be just me. That may be a little bit of wishful thinking in there. But nevertheless, hopefully you will enjoy this video. I know that I will enjoy it myself. And if you do, for sure you can support my content by just hitting the like and subscribe button. That costs you nothing. Also, every time you use the TCG Player and Mana Trader links that you will find in the description of the video down below, you will be supporting the stream as well at no extra cost to you. And of course, if you would like to actually support the stream in a direct way, you can do so through Patreon. You can do so through direct donations, and of course through coaching with Metafight, sorry. And that's gonna be it. Let's play some matches of Premodern with Bug Morphling Control. The perfect hand does not exist. No, this hand is terrible. This is like exactly the kind of hand that we do not want to see. I kind of want to keep this hand though. Maybe it's just too bad to keep. Like if my opponent goes turn 1 lucky, we just lose. Let's go. let's just do this. So we can go turn 1 Salt Marsh, and we have perfect mana, so we can cast any card that we draw. It's just a matter of just drawing good cards. How tough can that be, right? What are we up against? Wild Growth. Hey, look at that. My Naturalize is gonna do something. Also, if we draw Pernicious Deed, it's gotta be game. Ooh, that's an interesting one. So if I do this off of an Underground River, I think I want to Duress, because my opponent could have Enchantress's Presence here. So if I go Duress here, do I want to cast it off of a Polluted Delta? I guess I could draw exactly Counterspell, so I want to cast it off an Underground River as opposed to a Delta. So let's do this. And we whiff. Alright, that's bad for us. But okay, because our opponent's hand is also pretty bad, so this Wasteland's probably going to own us, but it's not the end of the world. There's the Wasteland, and down goes our land. So I guess our hand was actually fantastic considering the matchup. Here comes a Salt Marsh, and pass the turn back. Rashad and Port into what? Thermokarst? Jesus. Alright, that's a card. So now I can play my Delta and say go. Thermokarst. So opponent is on some sort of land destruction game plan over there. I'm actually going to tap my land on upkeep, which means I then want to fetch or not. Okay. So let's play a basic island and say go. I could play the Delta, but I kind of want to draw more lands, so my opponent could tap my land now. Sure, that's fine. They have Treetop, they have... Okay, so now I have no information about their hand. Man, that Duress Whiffin was kind of brutal. Opponent just continues to go after our lands. Fortunately, we have plenty of them. We have a Maya Coast. Okay, play that one. We'd love to find... I mean, if we do get to cast this Foff, I'm assuming we're going to win. And I'm going to be saving this Naturalize for potentially... do I care about that? Because if I do care about that right now... I guess they have a fetch land, so that's going to give them a pretty significant amount of control over their draw step. So let's get rid of that. And I imagine we're going to get tapped here, which is fine. Play Delta. I think I kind of want to cast this Blessing. So let's go with a Swamp. Basic Swamp. And let's cast this guy as Blessing. Targeting Naturalize, Salt Marsh, and Island. Draw counterspells, not bad at all. So now let's see what my opponent's got going on over there. We're gonna go for the Village, Treetop Village, some Treetop Village action. Respect it. I respected the Village beats. Tap my land. That's fine. Play land, pass the turn. AK is kind of nice. So if my opponent goes for Treetop attack, we can just kill the Treetop. Otherwise, we can just AK, which is... Yep. We're definitely killing the Treetop, because this is going to beat us down pretty hard. So, smaller that. Stop my opponent's clock. Terravor. Well, that's a problem. Gaia's Blessing. So I can actually Blessing and 2 lands to make the Terravor smaller, which is kind of cute. Yeah, let's do that. So, Blessing, Underground River, and Delta. Foff is not great. I'm just gonna cast this AK here. We're gonna take a big attack here. We're gonna take 5. It's not the end of the world, but I really have to find Oath. Interesting. Well, now I get a free Morphling, so that's sick. It's probably good for me to do this, right? It does grow the Terravor, however, so that's something to consider for sure. So there's Diabolic Edict, there's 2 Edicts, there's Deed that I could draw towards. So I think we're just gonna end step Foff. I think that's the game plan. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna Foff right now because this means I get to block. Yeah, I'm gonna take the lands. And now I can bin 1. It probably wasn't the land to bin, maybe the Underground River was the land to bin there. Nah, this swamp's fine. So I can block, and so can 1 more point of damage. So now we take 5 down to 2, and we have to find an answer for Terravor. I could actually activate this Oath just so I shuffle my graveyard. Yeah, this seems good to me. So yes, we're gonna say yes. We're gonna whiff, but this is gonna get all of my lands from my graveyard into... in fact, I want to FOF right now, leaving blue open. Let's actually leave black open, so I don't take any damage. So we're gonna FOF right now. Opponent's gonna split however they want, and I think I'm gonna choose this pile. Now that's gonna resolve. I'm gonna shuffle everything, and now we're gonna go to untap, and we did whiff on a removal spell, so we just lose. Sadness. All right, we didn't find a removal spell. We did not find Pernicious Deed either, so that was rough. So Annul seems good. Oh, we also had Innocent Blood. Jesus, we had so many answers to that. We had so many answers to that Devourer. That's really funny. Okay, so Leak seems bad, but Prohibit seems decent. Naturalize versus Removal. The Edict seem good. I guess the Edict seems kind of mediocre, so let's cut the Edicts, but I want the Edicts, but not the Innocent Blood, is what I mean. Cremate seems fine. Blue Elemental's Blast, Higher Blast, I don't think I care for. Naturalize has to be good, right? Morphlings are fine. Deedee's fine. Deedee's actually super good. Is Smother better than Edict? I think so. It's better than Innocent Blood. I do think the rest is fine. Yeah, this looks good to me, I think. I don't think I want the Tormod scripts. Alright, let's be on the play. And... okay. I think we mulligan. One lander versus the land destruction deck. Probably not where I want to be. This hand looks very good though. So keep this. Bottom, yeah, Maya Coast. We can go, this is like the combo. Turn 1 Grand Coliseum. Turn 2 Reflecting Pool. Ha, the dream. Alright, opponent Windswept Heath. Fetch for basic forest. Wild Growth. Cremate. Okay. Split a land and say go. Opponent goes with Wasteland. Okay. That sucks. So I'm gonna go for Accumulated Knowledge here. It means that I'm not gonna be able to cast any of my black cards. Ugh, that's rough. Sphere of Resistance. Treetop Village, okay. Pass the turn. Okay, that's actually not the worst. Because I just need to... yeah, okay, that's actually great. Alright, so we're doing fine here. So I have Edict, I have Cremate here to like redraw. I'm gonna exile what? I'm gonna exile my opponent's Wasteland, I think. Just to draw a card here. Okay, just keep drawing lands. That's good. Certainly good. Okay, so they tap my land. That's fine. Gonna go with Yavimaya Coast and pass the turn. So I don't want to expose my other black source, I don't think. Reflecting Pool is my best land here. If my opponent starts thermocasting my lands, we can live with that, I think. That is indeed a Winter's Grasp, which is fine. So now I have to waste my Blessing. We're going to shuffle Treetop Village, Yavimaya Coast, and I think we're going to shuffle the Coliseum. Actually, the Delta seems better. So just shuffle some lands, draw Counterspell, not bad. We have removal from my opponent's creatures, so it's probably going to be pretty tough for them to end the game. They don't have any card advantage going either. Okay, opponent upkeep ports, that's fine. Play land, pass the turn. So now we have Prohibit and Counterspell going on. Opponent's got Mirror's Guile as opposed to Sylvan Library, which I find interesting. Like, imagine how much better Library would be here, right? My opponent would be actually accruing card advantage. Black Vice. Does that do anything? Does that do anything at all? I mean, I am going to start taking damage. Yeah, I think this is fine, because, like, there's nothing else. Yeah, I just want to use my mana while I can, I guess. And if Black Vice is my opponent's win con, then I'm kind of all about this, right? Just spending my mana. And, okay, another Wild Growth. Okay, so they have no action going. We have a bunch of lands, which is good against this Sphere of Resistance Russian import deck. So now we're just playing the slow game here. And as soon as we draw Pernicious Deed, the game ends immediately, right? Just casually wipe everything away. Let's see what my opponent is going to do over there. Thermokarst. I'd rather you not. So now We untap. They're gonna tap something from me, I imagine. Sure. Got me. That's a Foth. It's pretty good. We like Foth. So we're probably going to take the hit here and just Foth. Okay. So they're not attacking Thermokarst. That's fine. Land down. We're going to cast a Factor Fiction. Is this spell versus lands? I kind of want the lands. Yeah. I'm just gonna keep the lands. Like it just blanks my opponent's game plan, right? Just straight up blanks it because they can't kill me because I have a bunch of removal. I mean, 2 removal spells is not a bunch of removal spells, but so I guess the worst case scenario is like they find another Black Vice, but again, like if I do find Pernicious Deed, the game just ends on the spot. So okay, so they play land. Like they keep finding random Thermokarsts and stuff. Like I just could not care less, right? Okay, so they blow up my land and tap something on upkeep. Okay, you got me. Okay, tap 2 things. Pass the turn again. They know I have a bunch of lands, so I'm just gonna play out those lands that I got. Okay, tap some mana. Another sphere. That's fine. Just get swept away by the Pernicious Deed. Man, where are my deeds? All right. Tap the wrong land there. Okay, another Smother. That's fine. Pass the turn. Got so much removal. Okay, so I guess Naturalize is better than the removal spells. Treetop. Actually, that may not entirely be true. So we're just gonna Smother here. Get another Swamp, I think. Can tap some mana on upkeep. Don't really care. Okay, so they figure out that Reflecting Pool is the better thing to be messing with. That's a really bad draw. So now we are, with this one, we're out of fetchables. So every delta we draw from now on is going to be just a dead draw. Okay, so they whiffed though, so that's good. Here, I think I'm gonna Smother. I may get punished by this play if my opponent finds like another mana, another manland and a Terrabor. So they may punish me there, but I think it's worth just having the access to, because my opponent's playing an Oath deck and maybe they have something else besides Terrabor as a win condition. Like, I don't know my opponent's deck, so. Okay, so that's game. Sweet. So, green, black, and we're just gonna pop this right now. Just a casual 5-for-1. Don't mind me. And I'm doing that obviously to limit my opponent's mana and also to limit my opponent's control over their draw steps with the Mirrors, guys. Oh, they have another one. That's funny. All right, tap my pool, tap my other pool. Perfect. Do I care about killing the Guile? I think this is close. Once again, how much better would Sylvan Library be than Mirrors Guile right now, right? I guess if my opponent finds exactly Oath, this is bad, but I think I want to do this right now. Like, my opponents have to, they just have to have some bad cards on the top, right? So Black Vice is not going to do anything for a while. These Reflecting Pools have been pretty good, actually. Morphling, yep, discuss that one. Oops. Hey, here you go. So if they draw exactly Oath right now, I guess I can just blow it up with Diabolic Edict, so it's not that big of a deal. It's kind of funny how now I just get to pump the Morphling. So like port blue. Okay, so this is gonna get +1 +-1. So I just get to pump the Morphling for free every turn if my opponent is gonna be porting. I think it should be, maybe that's not even true. Okay, so I do another Blessing, so I want to shuffle into the deck Gaia's Blessing, Pernicious Deed, and Counterspell. So let's shuffle those and draw a Counterspell, so that's probably game now. This one's locked up. Dude, like, I'm so excited right now, just winning the match. Just winning the game with Morphling. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, this is what's up. This is Premodern right here. All right, so Innocent Blood is actually not very good. And I think I'd rather have Naturalize over that. Maybe Mana Leak is reasonable. I don't think so. I think I'd rather have Blood than Naturalize. Duress is interesting on the draw, however. Probably not better than Naturalize. All right, baby. Game 3. Game 3. Let's end the game with another Morphling, shall we? Yeah, we're gonna keep this hand. It's a 6-card hand, virtually, but it's a pretty good 6-card hand, I think. So I think it's worth keeping. If my opponent has a sphere here, that could be a problem, but like having Delta is a really big deal because my opponent can't land, they can't destroy this land. So now we have counterspell for turn 2. No sphere is obviously a really, really big deal for us. We don't have green mana just yet. So as far as, oh, that's brutal. Yeah. Tap for no mana. That's really funny, actually. Sure. Okay, take 2. Yeah, Wasteland is brutal, because Wasteland is one that we actually cannot counterspell. So, blue source would be great. Swamp is not so great. So now we are a little bit in trouble, because my opponent, I mean, if they start blowing up my lands, they are not attacking me, so at least there's that going for us. But now they're going to be drawing, they're going to be, you know, controlling top of the deck with Guile. Once again, Library would be so much better than Guile. I mean, that's just how it's going to go in this matchup anyway, right? So we want to dodge one LD spell here. If they have remove, I guess we can always just draw a land, right? Kind of unfortunate that we've been missing our land drop here. I've been purposely not cracking this fetch land because I actually want to improve the likelihood of me finding lands off the top. That's another, okay, Thermokarst. So now, oh, that's brutal. All right, now that, yeah, that's the end probably. So let's discard Morphling here. So at this point, we're probably dead. I mean, it's gonna be a minute before they actually finish the job, but I think this may just, okay, never mind. Cancel that order. Oh, yes, no, yeah, we're super dead. All right, so we made a mistake of being on the play in this game, which is a commonly made mistake. So I don't have any more swamps to fetch because I naturally drew both of my basic swamps. So even if I find like fetch lands, I would need to find like Llanowar Wastes, I guess, into something else. But that's race. The TerraOath is just racing me anyway, because they can just like suit up both Village and Terra. Yeah, like they just have too much. I think I'm just dead here. Like this is gonna be a 2-turn clock. Yeah, that just turned the corner real quick. I mean, it was the sphere was the thing that did me in. Also, like the triple LD. Not much I could have done here. All right, well played. We lose this first game. It was fun though. It was fun. Like my opponent's brew is kind of neat. I like it. See you next round. Okay, here we are for the second match, and I guess I'm gonna keep this hand. We'll lose to something like a turn 1 Lucky or whatever, but this looks fine to me. I think I'm gonna go turn 1 Basic Island as opposed to going turn 1 Swamp. I may want to fetch a Painless Black Source, though I guess I'm more interested. Yeah, I'm probably gonna go like turn 1 Basic Island, turn 2 Underground River, and turn 3 Basic Swamp. When it moves to 6. But yeah, we're probably gonna be, if my opponent plays anything on turn 2, it's probably gonna get mana. Unless they have a Duress here. Okay, so there goes my counterspell. Seems like a fine Duress here. So does this mean the Rock? Turn 1 Wastes into Duress. They play the counters. They get the counterspell, of course. And I think I'm playing Avimaya Coast. That's obviously like a really bad draw, but it is what it is. Treetop Village. Okay, definitely looking like the Rock. Okay, that's nice. So we can go now. Duress you. Let's see what opponent's cooking with over there. Vendetta, Recurrent Nightmare. Yeah, I don't really care about, like, this is just a dead card. We're gonna need to find some answer. We're gonna need to find some answer to Manlands, though. That means that, what's his name is not a good draw. So they play basic force and they're gonna swing in for 3. Makes sense. So the Innocent Blood is not a good draw. Ugh, that's brutal. Factor Fiction would be great. Morphling would be fantastic. Factory, not super great. This Treetop's gonna clock us. Alright, take 3 more. Next turn we're gonna take 5, which is a lot. Treetop at least lets us block. Yep, I'm gonna take 5 here. Pretty significant amount of damage. Treetop's going to do like at least a medium work at keeping my opponent's attacks at bay. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Sure. I guess we're drawing some lands, aren't we? So here my opponent can just send the Treetop Village, and I kind of have to offer the trade. I'm surprised my opponent did not play the Treetop there. I mean, they should have just passed the turn, really. Because if they go for Vendetta, they know I can just mana. Maybe a little bit of a misstep from my opponent here. Didn't really plan their turn ahead. Because I'm going to block. Maybe they have 2 removal spells, and that's what's going on. That would also make sense. I assume that's the case. They just have 2 removal spells. And they need to lead on Vendetta, because that's the one I'm countering, so... Alright, show me your second removal. Probably like a Diabolic Edict or whatever. Okay. I mean, this is what I got, so... Yeah, okay, if that was the play, then they definitely made a mistake there. They should have just played the Treetop Village instead. Woof! I guess I'm playing this Delta, and I'm gonna fetch for an island. This is pretty rough here. Not drawing card advantage, not drawing removal. Just drawing lands and lands and lands. Take only 2 this turn. But I guess if I fetch, I'm dead on board, so I guess I shouldn't fetch. Unless they play something here. Deed. Do I care about Deed? I guess I just exchange my mana, so it's fine. Like, mana leak is gonna become very bad, so... maybe this is wrong. Maybe I shouldn't be doing that. Yeah, I guess I'm not gonna fetch because I'm gonna be dead on board. Oh, come on. That is... wow. Yeah. I don't think I have too many words to say about that. So I guess I have to draw exactly Pernicious Deed. That's the only way that I don't just straight up lose right now. So I'm gonna go to 1, meaning this Polluted Delta is just a dead card. I don't have any ways to gain life main deck. Oh yeah. Deed or I lose. Oh my god. All right. Sure. That happened, I guess. Sideboarding. Innocent Blood. Probably not super great, right? It doesn't do much against the manlands. Edict is also kind of medium, though. So I want to cut a couple of bloods. I guess Edict is just better than Innocent Blood, so let's just do that, you know? Then we can play... do I care about Naturalize? Gets rid of Recurrent Nightmare, which I guess I do have to answer somehow. I guess I want to know, interestingly enough. Duress, I can see like a couple of copies, but I don't want too many. I think I'd rather have Naturalize over the last Innocent. And we're going to go with this. Man, we really had a lot of good draws there, didn't we? Okay, I'm going to be on the play. And... sheesh. Okay, I'm going to keep this hand. Now the question is, do I want to duress on 1? Or do I want to hold on to the blue mana? I mean, I have 19 blue sources. I guess 18 after I crack this. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna pass the turn back. If my opponent wants to duress me on 1, that's fine. Okay, birds, we couldn't really have done it. Okay. Very interesting. Annul. It's a Treetop. So no black mana for opponent. Wall of Blossoms, that's fine. So I guess we're just gonna AK on end step. We're gonna be looking for a land. Boom. Great draw. Do I just jam a Deed? Yeah, I think so. Because I have a second one, so if my opponent wants to blow this one up with a Naturalizer or whatever, seems fine to me. And now we can just use this Deed to just threaten anything they do, and if they don't do anything, if we find another land, we just can Factor Fiction, which is nice. Opponent can get in there for 3 if they want this turn, which is an okay play, I guess. Okay, they are. I'll take 3. I could blow this up for 0, actually. But I think I'd rather just blow it for 2 and kill my opponent's stuff. Another Treetop. Okay. Well, now that I drew the land, I'm just going to pass the turn. We're going to see what my opponent does. And depending on what they do, I am going to either crack this, or if they just attack with the 3-top, I'm just going to Factor Fiction on my opponent's end step. Really? So they just expose everything here? Okay. Well, I'm gonna take it. I'm just gonna fall on end step. Choose your poison, opponent. This is a pretty cool split, actually. This is a very cool split, because if I take this, then Blessing shuffles away my knowledge, which is fine. I think I'm just taking the counterspell pile. Untap. Land is a fantastic draw. So play a land, duress you, see what you got going. Their own deed. Nice. So now we pass the turn. Okay, so they play a waste. I mean, they know about the counterspell now, so... Okay. I think this time I am cracking the deed, so I don't take the 3 damage. Then I can just play a second deed. Yeah. If they want to play another birds, I think that's fine. Recurrent Nightmare. It's just an old... That's so good for us, actually. So they didn't deploy their bird, and we got rid of the Recurrent Nightmare, which is also very good for us. So here this is interesting, because I can play another deed and just leave it in play. We have perfect information about my opponent's hand. Alternatively, I can just Blessing and just shuffle back Foff, Deed, and I guess Underground River. This seems like a good turn to Deed, though. So let's just play second Deed, pass the turn. And we're gonna have to be maneuvering our life total here. So they're going... I think we're gonna take this hit, and this is the last hit that we're gonna take. I think that's gonna be the case. I'm gonna take 3 down to 7, and then we're gonna see what they do. I could crack on end step. I could crack Deed for 1 on end step, but then my opponent gets to attack me next turn for a bunch. So I think I'm just gonna untap. It's not terrible. So let's do Blessing, Shuffle, Pernicious Deed, Factor Fiction, and I guess that's it. Yeah. Let's draw a card. Mana Leak. But this is going to prevent my opponent from attacking with the factory as well. We're again really struggling to find removal. This is good. Them attacking with 3-top is pretty good for me, I think. Gotta get rid of the birds over there. So here comes the 3-top. Gonna wait till attacks, and then I'm gonna crack it for 1. Beginning of combat. Swing. Crack Deed for 1. Naturalize answers the factory, but the third 3-top village is a problem. Pretty good for my opponent that they just managed to draw a lot of manlands. That's good though. So now I can just naturalize plus edict, and that's gonna get rid of all the manlands, and we also have counterspell while we're at it. So now I'm feeling fairly confident about my position. And we know that my opponent has a Hermit in hand and nothing else that we know of. Cabal Therapy. So I think I'm counterspelling this, because they know about the counterspell, so just getting rid of it is pretty good. Now we'll see what my opponent does. They do play 3-top. Are they gonna... They're gonna just active... There's Flashback Therapy? Wow. Okay. So with that on the stack... I'm gonna Edict. This is gonna force my opponent to activate Factory again. And if they do, then I just naturalize the factory with the edict still on the stack. So I think this lines up well for us. So they activate factory, Diabolic Edict still on the stack, naturalize the factory, and now Diabolic Edict's gonna resolve. They're gonna be forced to sack the 3-top village. Okay, that was pretty good. Those were some pretty good exchanges for us. Now we just have to draw Accumulated Knowledge, Factor Fiction. Also, Morphling would be a good draw, I think. If they play Hermit, we can just leak it, which is nice. There we go. Mana Leak that. And now I have 7 mana to my opponent's 5, and 1 counterspell in hand to my opponent's Unknown. Oh, look at that. 1, 2, Morphling. With counterspell backup. And once I untap with Morphling, the game's gonna end, probably. So the removal doesn't do anything. 6 mana. Jeez, what is this? Multani Maro Sorcerer. So this is just a 1/1? I mean, this can be bad for me, so I'm gonna counter it anyway. And now we're just going... We have it for turn clock. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna play out my cards. +1, -1. +1, -1. So now if my opponent draws Multani, that's actually a dead draw, which is pretty funny. Would love to find accumulated knowledge, would love to find stuff like that. If they have Diabolic Edict, then I'm gonna be in trouble. But that's literally the only card that matters. 2 mana. What do you got, opponent? Wall of Blossoms. That's actually quite good. Because it's something that they can put in play, and now they can find like Recurrent Nightmare and it actually does anything. Prohibit. Okay. That works. We're gonna send with Morphling. +1, -1. +1, -1. It's nice that Morphling allows me to play both offense and defense at the same time, so even if they find something that can interact with the Morphling, I can still just untap it. I can still keep playing the game. I think Nightmare is the only thing I'm scared of here. Cabal Therapy. Sure. There's no way they name Prohibit. There's 0% chance they name Prohibit, so that's why I just let it resolve. Literal 0% chance they name Prohibit. Actually, I'm going to hold on to this land thing. And I'm going to attack without giving it flying. If my opponent wants to chump with the Wall of Blossoms, that means they can't flush back Therapy. So I'm okay with this. And I'm going to hold on to, because they know about the Prohibit and I have a bunch of mana, I'm just going to hold on to this Coast. Oh, they have Duress. Alright, got me. There's actually not that many cards that they could have that matter, though, because they don't have the Wall of Blossoms anymore, so even Recurrent Nightmare doesn't really do anything here. So here's another Morphling activation. Here's another Morphling activation. So that's 5, opponent down to 4. And now we are in a spot where there's not that many cards they could draw. Obstinate Bailiff, we just counter. Birds of Paradise. Okay, that's just a chump blocker. They can flashback Therapy, but again, they're never going to name Mana Leak, right? So that's just a chump blocker for the Morphling. And if I find removal, we just win. Play my Painless Land, swing for 3. Bird goes under the bus. And now we just go to the, hopefully the last turn. If they play Wall of Blossoms, I guess I just let it go. Because I just win following turn, so it's fine. Hell yeah, that's 2 games so far. 1 with Morphling. It just makes me happy, makes me feel things. Okay, so what do we got here? Naturalize answering. Actually, I kind of like Cremate as a way to play around Recurrent Nightmare. And Mishra's Factory made me want to naturalize more than Annul. We have Foff, Morphling Deed, all of our counter magic, our removal, our blessings. I'm not even sure I need 2 Gaia's Blessings, but I guess just having 2 Blessings in the deck is a win condition by itself, so yep, just gonna go with this. I guess we keep this. If they have Duress, it's probably bad for me, but if they have Cabal Therapy, I doubt that they're naming any of these cards, so just snap off the deed. Don't even think about it, you know, just like snap it off. Cabal Therapy. Okay, so just gonna name Edict. They are tearing my hand a little bit. This is a pretty big tell that I have Counterspell specifically, but what can you do? Maybe it's just bluff. Maybe it's just a sicko bluff. Could be. All of this stuff is fine. It's like free folder for Therapy, but yeah, now with the Factory, I'm pretty sure that they're just gonna... Ooh, that's so good. Yeah, we're doing that. Black. So now they're gonna have to flashback the Therapy now. They're probably gonna name Naturalize, just to get rid of it. Opponent doesn't... Oh, wow. Okay. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. What is this? Recurrent Nightmare. Okay. Interesting. So they just threw their Nightmare into the Naturalize that they knew about? That's weird. Why would they do that? Oh, because they want a free... No, but they could have just like Cabal Therapy, though. I think the play would have been to just Cabal Therapy name Naturalize, sacrificing the Wall of Blossoms, and then play Nightmare so they can sack Wall of Roots. Like, that would have been an engine. My opponent would have started drawing 1 extra card every single turn. That would have been pretty hard for me to stop. So I think that was a mistake on my opponent's side. Like, they could have really run away with the game there. Okay, so end step, we AK. Play another Salt Marsh, pass the turn back. So 2 damage a turn is not that terrible. But we see the power of the manlands, right? Like that has been like the biggest struggle for me in this entire match. The endless manland struggle for this kind of control decks. That naturalized on Pernicious Deed from my opponent was very, very timely. Opponent plays land. Oh, they tap mana. Oh. Alright, there we go. Coming in for 2. Down to 14 we go. 14. Untap. Edict. Not super great here, huh? We got time, though. We got time. It's pretty nice that we have access to a bunch of painless mana, colored mana between the Salt March and the basics. Green is the only color that's gonna cost us, but it's just a single point of damage, so it's not that huge of a deal when my opponent's attacking me in multiples of 2. But a 3-top off the top would be problematic, to say the least. So my best draw, as usual, Factor Fiction. Okay. Naturalize would be decent to get rid of the factory. That stops my opponent's clock entirely. Factor Fiction is still my best draw, though. Pernicious Deed, also a very good draw. That would also, just by being there, would stop my opponent's clock entirely. Alright. Flashing back Therapy. Obviously, I'm not going to counterspell that. I'm pretty sure they're going to name counterspell, though. That's what they've been naming the previous game. Yeah. So, it's also a thing that makes sense to name here, right? Because of how the game has been developing, I've just been hitting land drops. Not really doing anything. So now, I guess Pernicious Deed is my best draw. Because if this is a Bailoff. Natural Order. Jesus. Okay. For Multani. Okay. Man, that's so bad. So I guess I'm going to Edict right now just to make the Multani smaller. So that means they sack the bird. But now the Multani is going to be just a 4/4. Yeah, I don't think I can really beat this Multani though. The thing is that, yeah, I guess just holding on to the egg would have been better, because it means that my opponent can't really activate Factory, because if they ever do, I can just blow them out. It gives me Deed as a potential draw as well. Interesting. Why are they doing this in their first main phase? Why are they not attacking? I mean, they obviously should have attacked first. They would have swung for 2 more points of damage, putting me on a 2-turn clock. Alright, take 4. Can we draw something that's not a land? That's funny. Okay. I guess I should have been more specific. Yep. Take 5, I guess. But yeah, I would have been dead this turn if my opponent hadn't like played their stuff, the birds and the forest main phase. Man, that was brutal. Man, we really had a lot of cards that we could have drawn in both games 1 and 3. Like game 2, when we actually drew our card advantage spells, things went a lot better. But here, yep. And the same thing that happened in like the previous match, right? So maybe I don't think I'm playing too many lands, but maybe I'm not playing enough card advantage spells. That's definitely a thing that could be going on. Anyway, see you in the next round. Okay, game number 3. This hand looks pretty strong. We're on the draw. Don't know what we're up against, but this hand is kind of fantastic versus kind of everything. Even if they go turn 1 Mock Fanatic, I'm not gonna like blood that, but because that's gonna get swept away by the Deed. But yeah, this is nice. The question now is gonna be whether we're playing against Sly or whether we're playing against Goblins. Hopefully we're playing against Goblins. This hand is really, really good versus Goblins. It's medium against Sly. Okay. No plays turn 2. Don't mind if I do. So if the Incinerator in my face on end step, I guess I just take it. So they just do nothing. Okay, so it is Goblins. Good. Opponent fetches and then swing with Mogfinac. That's a pretty good choice of art, opponent. Respect. Prospector. That just dies to the Deed, so that's fine. Untap. I think I wanna hold for a turn before playing the Deed, and the reason for doing this is I don't want to get blown out by a Naturalize. Wasteland. Ooh, perfect. So we're just gonna counterspell this. We're gonna take 2, and here we're gonna go. I think we're just gonna go land Deed. Black, blue, green. So now we just drop the Deed here. My opponent can like naturalize this, but then I just blow up the Goblins in response. Yep. Should have attacked first for sure. Unless they want to like cast a Ringleader, which is pretty decent here, right? Of course. Nope, no Ringleader. 2 mana for Piledriver. Okay. Alright, so do I want to duress? I think I do, because they could have another Naturalize. Goblin King, Siege Gang. Okay, I'm just gonna drop the deed here. So 1 green, black. Pass the turn back. If they top deck exactly Naturalize, we're gonna be in trouble. But if they don't, then we have a lot of control over how this game develops, which is nice. That's a really good top deck. That's a really, really good top deck. Okay, so they only found a War Chief off of it, but this is a lot of damage. Now they're swinging for 5. So that's a lot more damage than I was anticipating. So I think I'm just going to have to Innocent Blood here. Play Island, Innocent Blood. They're probably going to sack the Ringleader. Actually, it may be better to just sack the Piledriver, actually. Yep. Ringleader is just more damage. These actually put in significant amount of pressure on me here. They don't need to continue developing to the board. Man, that Ringleader top deck was really, really good. Mostly because it was just a hasty threat that it just represented so much damage. So we're just going to crack this for 4 to get rid of the Ringleader. Just a 1, actually a 2-for-1 trade on my opponent's favor, but... Ugh, that's a lot of lands. It's a lot of lands. And this Prohibit is a lot worse than a Mana Leak right now. If they drop a Siege Gang, I'm in so much trouble. Okay, that's a War Chief. I'm gonna cast with Kicker. And now we really need to find a Foff or something. Foff? Edict. Okay, not the absolute worst, but still pretty bad. War Chief. Edict you. Really have to find some form of card advantage here. Foff? Deed. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess I can still chill here. I guess they could have another hasty threat, so maybe this is wrong. But I can just play Deed and crack it in the same turn to get rid of the Siege Gang. Okay, opponent's not playing around counter magic, which may be correct, honestly. But I'm gonna have to... Siege Gang is lethal, so I'm gonna have to play Deed and crack it immediately. Black, blue, green. Now we're going to Deed for 5. Yeah, these exchanges have not been very good. All of these exchanges have not been great for me. It really was that one Ringleader. Like I was fine until that one Ringleader show up, and then all of a sudden things became a lot harder very, very quickly. Piledriver. Okay. So I guess I have to kill the Piledriver. Man, this really is brutal. This really is brutal. Not tapping my land on end step. It's a mistake. So I have to kill the Piledriver because it's lethal. We can have 6. Been flooding a lot. Definitely been flooding a lot, but so now they take a hit. Goblin King comes down. And at this point I'm probably dead. Okay. So obviously plagues come in, duresses come out. Blue Elemental Blast, Hydroblasts as well. Innocent Blood is pretty bad, but I guess it's fine. Naturalize goes, Smother comes in. Do I want Edicts? Yeah, maybe Edicts are fine. I'm gonna cut the Prohibits, leaving the Mana Leaks. I guess Innocent Blood, it's answer to a turn 1 Lackey. Yeah, so let's do that, and I'm 100% gonna win with Morphling, so... Oh, actually they can answer Morphling on the stack thanks to Rev. Yeah, but there's no way we're decking them, so I'm just gonna cut the Blessing for what? I guess we can leave 1 Blessing, whatever. Alright. The Sand loses to turn 1 Lackey. Is that something I'm okay with? I think so. So we're dead to turn 1 Lackey, but we're probably good otherwise. I mean, we're not necessarily good, right? We're just fine otherwise. We're okay otherwise. So we can go turn 1 Saltmarsh, and then starting turn 2, our mana is gonna be good. Opponent moves to 5. Hopefully they didn't mulligan to turn 1 Lucky, because kind of can't beat that. No! Damn it! Alright, so we're dead. Smother. Any answer? Edict. Nope. Alright. So I guess we lose. Damn it! Ugh. That's brutal. Alright, let's not give up just yet. Let's not give up just yet. Just don't have the siege gang, okay? Or like the ringleader or whatever. Yeah, that's all right. We need plague. If we find engineer plague off the top, engineer plague right here. Engineer plague. Are they gonna wasteland me? They should have wastelanded me. Okay, so we're gonna play the river, and I guess I'm just gonna attempt to hydroblast the lackey during their turn. This means they can throw the lackey in my face, but they can also have their own rev, right? But I can mana leak that. Just take a casual 5 here, no big deal. Leak that. Engineered plague. Engineered plague. Can we find an engineered plague? AK. Not quite. Delta also not quite. Oh my god. This is brutal. Woof. Alright, that's game now. I have no draws that beat this. Oh my god, that was embarrassing. I guess I should have mulliganed that one hand, right? Why am I flooding every single... Maybe I am not... I'm definitely not playing an Afghan advantage, right? Like, I definitely am not. This deck is misbuilt. Alright, 0-3 so far, but, you know, still not losing hope. Sure, let's keep this hand. So, an interesting hand, isn't it? Mog Fanatic. So I'm probably gonna duress here instead of Innocent Blooding. Let's duress and then... Ooh, interesting. Okay, so it's like a, I guess a weirdo version of Goblins. Maybe I get Wasteland here. I do. Okay, that's fine. Oh. Well, that's a good draw. Yeah. Am I just conceding here? I think I just concede the game right now. I can't kill this. My opponent's going to... I think I'd rather just not show my opponent my deck. So I think I'm just going to pack it in. I can't be... Like, that was... Damn, that was a hell of a top deck. Jesus. Okay. I guess we're trying this out again. So, cut the duresses. Bring in Smother. We got edicts, we got plagues. Let's cut a couple of innocent blood because I have more answers to turn 1 lackey. Right now we have 5. I think I'm gonna cut naturalize. I saw Monk's Diamond, but I don't think that really does anything to... Like, I don't think that's... actually, let's cut blessing instead of the naturalize. I guess I'd rather have Diabolic Edict than innocent blood. Is that true? Yeah, I think so. 5 copies of answers to Lucky seem good though, so I'll just cut the prohibit. Let's go with this. All right, so this time around, okay, we're gonna keep this. So we do have an answer. Let's go turn 1 island in case I draw counterspell and my opponent plays nothing on 1. But yeah, I'm probably gonna. They do nothing. Okay. Okay. Saltmarsh is a decent top deck there. Wasteland. Yeah, this seems great for me. Yeah, do I want a Delta? I think so. Let's Delta. We already have... excuse me. We already have black mana. Oh, my opponent wants to do this? Well, I'm okay with this. Yep. Definitely fine doing this. So I'm going to save onto the Yavimaya Coast for whenever I actually want to use the green mana. That's a Matron. I imagine it's going to get Ringleader. Although I guess Ringleader is not even that good because my opponent's going to go to discard. Okay, so they do get Ringleader. Fetch for Island. Best draw would be Engineered Plague. Counterspell. Okay, I'll take that one too. Pass the turn. And if my opponent goes for Ringleader, then I counterspell. If they don't, then I just fall off on end step. Double port. Take 1. Alright. End step. Factor Fiction. These are not particularly great cards to be. Okay, so this is my opponent's splits. I think I'm going to choose... This is going to bring me up to 8 cards, 9 with draw step. I think I'm going to keep this. And now, untap. I'm going to see what my opponent taps here. Tap blue. Let's float a blue. Pass priority. Now they tap the other blue. Interesting. So I could edict here, but I think it's better for me to just let this go. We untap. And we're going to go Reflecting Pool and then Innocent Blood. That kills that. We're holding Counterspell. We have Edict. Chilling with this Naturalize here. Draw land. And we untap. Tap a land. That's fine. Tap another land. That's also fine. Now I think I'm going to play the island instead of playing the Salt Marsh this turn, because if my opponent has another land, they can just tap me out of Counterspell mana and then they can just resolve the Ringleader. So I'm just not gonna, yeah. I'm not gonna get got by that. We're chilling here. We are just chilling. It's actually likely that my opponent did not bring in Pyroblast because, oh, Cycling. Oh, no, they just cast that. Okay, that's fine too. That's very interesting. Okay, so I think we're gonna go AK, nice, into Edict U. Because I'd rather them sack the Gem Palm than the Pile Driver, honestly. But it's pretty sure, it's pretty certain, like, we did not show blue mana to my opponent last game, so. This has pro blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. So we could play Morphling here. But I think I'd rather... Let's actually AK. Oh, nice. Yeah, that seems good. I'm gonna name Goblin here. And pass the turn. Maybe they have Naturalize. I imagine they have Naturalize. Port. Tap for blue. Say okay. Naturalize. Okay. That is not great, but it could have been worse. I guess I could have played around that. Maybe I should have. Who knows anymore. Another counterspell is kind of nice. So let's play the Salt Marsh this turn and pass the turn back. But I'm just gonna play out the Morphling and then we're just gonna win the race with this Pile Driver. Also, Morphling kind of makes my opponent's ports a lot worse. Counter that one. We knew about that one. Interesting tapping from my opponent there. So, if we play Morphling, so they're gonna tap one of my lands here, probably the pool. Oh, they don't? Okay. So, let's play a Delta. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Morphling. Pass the turn. So they can only tap one of my lands, which is fine. Still holding up Counterspell. We can also smother this Pile Driver, which we may have to. My opponent has been very good about their use of ports. They've been using their ports very effectively, which is good for them, obviously. Land fetch, and now what? What's your big end game here, opponent? So I guess they're trying to resolve. I'm gonna give it -1/+1. No attacks. Okay. Grand Coliseum, perfect. So this has pro blue, which means that it dies to a smother. And now we can serve. That's some damage, and that's more. 5, yeah. Go. We can untap with this Morphling if my opponent tries to haste or something. It plays something with haste. Which means I'm probably letting go of okay. So Coliseum down. Just good for me because I've been sandbagging these Young Echoes for the entire match. So Pernicious Deed is a great draw. Ringleader. Yeah, that's counter-worthy. I think we have enough color of the mana here. So I'm just gonna fetch for just basic swamp. Untap. Diabolic Edict. Okay. So swing. +1/+0. +1/+0. Alright. They port my thingy in response. I'm gonna untap Morphling. It's also fine. Alright, that's 5. So if they have Siege Gang, maybe that's bad for me. So I'm just gonna Edict the Siege Gang with trigger on the stack. That way they can't just like sack their things to hit me, to shock me. They're gonna sack the Siege Gang itself for sure, but I think that's fine because that uses up their entire turn. And now that's a pretty decent top deck. I take that. Boom. All right. Game 3. The Tine of Truth. Am I bringing back Prohibit? Maybe I'm bringing back Prohibit. This Naturalize did nothing. Yeah, this seems fine. But now we have to expect my opponent to have like Red Elemental Blasts and whatnot. So this game is going to be harder than the one that we just won. Also, we're going to be on the draw, right? This hand's probably okay. Double DD is nice. We also have Edict. But again, turn 1 Lucky is a really big issue. So that's the only thing that we really want to dodge. But this hand, I mean, we have deeds, so we have a way to catch back up. That's a lucky answer. Almost. Yep. Lucky connects. What do you got? Yep. It's pretty decent. That's a way to undo the mulligan. 2 luckies. Okay. So on the plus side of things here, if we do draw an engineered plague, that's gonna be like a very clean 3-for-1. So we got that going for it. We also do find a basic. So now all of a sudden, oh, I should have actually, no, I think that doing this is better. Like, I don't have counterspell mana, but my opponent's not gonna play anything into counterspell anyway. Still have prohibit, and this allows me to, let's play island, and I'm just gonna edict. This is me playing around wasteland, since my out is again just a single, the engineered plague anyway, right? So that's the first trigger, which is a war chief. That's it. Okay. Port is devastating. Port is a devastating land for them to play. Tap another edict. Okay. So I think I'm just gonna edict again. I imagine they're just gonna sack another one of these lackeys because they don't have anything to put in. But now I'm in a situation where I have to draw the land and the plague. So I'm not dead on board as is, unless they drew something very good here. So this means I have at least one more. Never mind. I just don't have anything. Don't have anything anymore. Yep, no outs. No outs. Alright, so this brew did not work out this time around. Alright, last match. Let's see if we can get at least one W. So this hand has perfect mana, but not too much action. I'm gonna keep it. On the draw, we are losing to, again, like turn 1, something terrible for us, but alright, Mind Stone into Furnace. Morphling, not the best draw, I would say. Let's play the Grand Coliseum and pass the turn back. So now we can play Reflecting Pool on 2. Our mana is gonna be full online. Oh, look at that synergy. Look at that synergy with the City of Traders and the Crosses' Catacombs. We're gonna be doing, oh, they FOF? Okay. So, oh my god, these welders are insane. Am I just doing this? I think I may just be doing this. And I think my opponent should take the double welder. Okay, so now I have to deal with only a single welder, which is good. Alright, second counterspell is great. Yeah. That, dude, like, we're gonna counter that. Blue. So my opponent doesn't have, so they can't tinker this turn, which is obviously pretty good for me. There goes that. And we're not drawing well. We are not drawing well. That counterspell draw was pretty good, but this is not looking great. 4th welder? Jesus. Okay, so I'm gonna have to figure out a way to deal with this Masticore now. But the problem is my opponent plays the Masticore and then they just have it back, so I guess I have more answers to welder than I do have answers to Masticore, so I'm supposed to let the welder go. Man, like 4 welders is so many. That's brutal. Okay. Thran Dynamo. I have to let that one go. At least welder's not doing much here. They can start to turn all of their cards into draws. Jesus. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. So, countering Masticore doesn't do anything at all. So I just have to hope that my opponent goes for a Tinker here. And I have to use my counterspell on that. But it looks pretty hard to win this one. I really need to find an answer to this in like my first 5 draw steps. Alright. Counter that one. And now I imagine they're going to play the Masticore. Winter Orb. That's actually not super bad for me. I mean, it's bad in that, obviously, it's a lot better for my opponent than it is for me. But if I do find an answer to this, then we're going to be cooking. Yeah. I guess that's what's going on. Damn, Welder is such a beating. And my opponent finding the first 4 in the first 17 cards. is quite bad for the good guys. Quite bad for the good guys. I think I just have to let this resolve. I guess I'm basically countering something on board, but I kind of need... I think I need to draw specifically... I need to draw specifically Pernicious Deed. So because of that... Okay, I'm off this game. I'm just off it. I am off it. Okay, so Naturalize seems great. Obviously, Annul seems great. I have to expect that my opponent is going to have access to some Hydroblast and stuff. Cremate seems good. Duress, maybe? Also, Blue Elemental Blast / Red Elemental Blast seem interesting to me. I'm going to cut a couple of Innocent Bloods. I'm going to cut the Smother. Engineered Plague, I have to assume that they're playing the combo, the Devourer combo, right? So Engineered Plague is pretty good versus Devourer specifically. It can also name... But I guess Engineered Plague is a number with the Deed, and I think Deed is my best card in the matchup. It's got the Mana Leaks. Go with this. I could even cut one of the Morphlings. I assume that if this resolves, my opponent is just not going to be able to deal with it, so... And let's bring in a Hydroblast. Game number 2. Yeah, this hand looks actually very good. So we have turn 1 Duress. We have an answer to a Goblin. We have Prohibit. Powder Keg. We just don't care at all about, right? They have Ancient Tomb. Ancient Tomb crosses Catacomb. Just gonna take the Tangled Wire, I think. And I think turn 2 we're just gonna Duress. We're just gonna Duress the Foff. There's Ancient Tomb for Powder Keg, which is fine. Mox Diamond. That's pretty good. Okay. So that's a great draw. Let's go Innocent Blood into Duress U. Take the Foff, and now they just have it crosses his Catacomb. That was a really good draw. The problem is now this Prohibit is looking really bad. So we know they have Ancient Tomb. Okay. Mana Leak would be a lot better than this Prohibit. They're not putting counters on the Keg, which is interesting. It's an island. Good island art. Good choice. Remarkable choice, opponent. Let's play a Forest. Pass it back. Now we get to fall for my opponent's end step or prohibit something if we need to. There's the Ancient Tomb we knew about. Mindstone resolves. So now we just foff on end step. If they split it like this, yeah, I'm just gonna keep the Morphling. I don't care about the Naturalize. I'm kind of good on that department. But I'm still gonna hold on to this Prohibit port. Another Prohibit. Alright. So we got counter magic. Pool tapped. I mean, now that I know about Morphling, maybe they should start up taking that Powder Keg. Let's get... I think I'm gonna get another island here instead of the swamp because I already have 2 Llanowar Waste in hand. Yep, land tapped. Counterspell is nice, so... Next turn we can Morphling plus hold up Counterspell, which is decent. Why are they not upticking the Powder Keg? They literally know about the Morphling now. I don't think I like that. I guess we can hold one more turn so that we can... Yeah, now that we found another land. So we don't just get tapped into resolve a big spell. So we're just gonna chill here, continue hitting land drops. If they play something, we can prohibit. If they don't, next turn we just throw the Morphling out there. Delta. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll just wait one more turn. That means I have double protection. Not through the port tap though. I'm kind of afraid of Red Elemental Blast. So I don't want the Morphling to get rebbed. Pool's tapped. Innocent Blood. When I'm trying to resolve this Morphling. Yikes. So I guess I'm not gonna do anything. Just gonna continue playing this game. I mean, eventually I'm just gonna find some form of card advantage, right? My opponent's gonna have to do something about that. Gaia's Blessing. Okay. Factor Fiction. Neutralize. Duress. Green and 1. Nice. I think we chill on that for a second. But Duress is a fantastic draw. Defense Grid. Well, we're just gonna prohibit that one. 1 and blue. Prohibit that one. Anything else? That one's good. We can just kill it. Alright. Opponent going for big place. That one we're gonna prohibit. So now we can Duress on my main phase. Okay, so they tap my pool. It's a good draw. Duress you. Let's see what you're cooking with. Nothing. Straight up nothing. Innocent Blood. Triskelion Devourer. And now we're gonna get to Counterspell plus Foth, because they can only play one of their big spells. Now that one gets countered. Now Foth on end step. Boom. It's pretty good. Imagine 2 AKs versus the other 3. I think I'm choosing the 2 AK. Untap. Whatever they board, I use 2 AK. I think I chill here. They tap. Okay. So let's AK now then. Deed. That is strong. Yes. That one I will play. Oh, wait. Oh, I'm in beginning of combat. Alright. Here's a Deed. Here you go. Deed is actually an answer to this Devourer, which is funny. That's a city. So we're gonna AK here, draw 2. Hydroblast, second Deed. I'm just gonna chill on this Pernicious Deed. Opponent can't really do anything while this Deed is in play, so Counterspell is very nice. I think at the end of my opponent's turn, I'm gonna crack this Deed, which is gonna trade for, I guess, just 2 of their things. I'm actually going to untap. I'm gonna play a second Deed. Yeah, I think I like this. So I'm gonna untap, play a second Deed. Ooh, Naturalize. Okay, never mind. So now that I drew Naturalize, I feel very safe. So now at the end of my opponent's end step, I'm going to Pernicious Deed, blow everything, all the X2s, Foth, counter it, untap. So now even if they blow up my Deed, I can just Naturalize the Devourer, so it's fine. X equals 2. They're gonna cantrip the Mind Stone probably. So not that great of an exchange, but I have another Deed. So now they tap on upkeep. Man, I always say I'm gonna go for Morphling this turn and then I draw something better to do. So unlucky. So unlucky that I want to go for the kill and I just can't because I just find something better to do with my mana. So brutal. So we play Deed here again. My opponent can't win while this Deed is in play. So Mind Stone obviously doesn't do anything. Now end step I get to Foth again. This is looking good. Okay. Ensnare and Bridge. Sure. Do anything. Funnily enough, if I have enough mana, Bridge actually does not stop Morph, which is funny. Deed Duress versus these 3. I already have a Deed in play. Don't think I care about Duress. I'm just gonna take the 3 cards. And I'm gonna cycle this Cremate now to get rid of the Winter Orb, which is the most annoying of these. Another Naturalize. Port my land. Don't draw a swamp. Okay, good. Because I was gonna be out of fetchables. Boom. 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's a Morphling. So with enough mana, I can just make the Morphling small to attack through the bridge, and then I can pump it after it's already attacking. So this bridge does literally nothing. 4 mana, 5 mana. Mishra's Helix. Yeah, that's fine. Just gonna naturalize it. Naturalize the Helix. Our spell's nice. We have enough lands, so we just attack, pump, and pump. 5 yeah. That's a 2-turn clock, so my opponent needs to win this turn. Can pop this for 3, which would be nice. 1, 2, 3. And this pops both the bridge and the Mind Stone while my opponent's tapped out, so they can't actually cycle the Mind Stone. So that seems good. Now my opponent's mana is going to be a little bit more limited. I have Counterspell, Naturalized Edict, Hydroblast. So I think that I'm going to be able to stop my opponent from doing their thing. Perfect. Everything worked out as planned. Okay, this Innocent Blood looked very bad. So let's bring in Diabolic Edict, and I guess I'm going to bring in Mana Leak. Although Mana Leak would have been pretty bad as well. Yeah, this seems fine. Actually, Innocent Blood over Mana. The Blood was not the absolute worst. I mean, Deed is just the nuts, right? So if I draw more Deeds, I'm going to be more likely to win. And if I draw less Deeds, I'm going to be less likely to win. That's kind of what it's going to come down to. But again, this is why I was trying to brew a deck like this one, right? Is because I think this card is just really, really strong. It's just that the Rock is not a good deck, unfortunately. And it looks like this one is not either. So I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board. But I really want to try to find a way to make Pernicious Deed work. I was also thinking of making like a really, really grindy like mono black control style deck instead of the rock. So instead of just messing around with all of these random creatures, just play one Nether Spirit or something like that, just singleton creature, and then just play like a bunch of removal spells, discard spells, and whatnot, and just 4 Pernicious Deed. That's my green cards and nothing else. Maybe Naturalizes in the sideboard or whatever, but just really going all in on the whole Pernicious Deed is a great thing. So that's another thing that I've been thinking about. So maybe that's the next deck I try. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, what do we got here? We got a Cremate. Okay, I think I'm keeping this. If my opponent has turn 1 Welder, that would be a little bit of an issue, but also turn 1 Defense Grid. But my mana is good. Yeah, I think I'm keeping this. Opponent keeps 7. Turn 1 Ancient Tomb is very good. Ancient Tomb into Altar. Okay. Here's a Delta, so if I need to Cremate, I can. But also I leave myself open to counterspell onto Port. 3 mana for Bridge. Bridge does literally nothing. I'm surprised this is still in my opponent's deck. There's that. Another AK is nice. So I can start to get that value train going. Shivan Reef. Thran Dynamo. I think I'm going to counter this one. Mostly to use my mana. And because I'm going to need to go to discard otherwise. Okay, I'm going to play a Black Source past the turn back. So now we can AK plus Cremate. If they have the combo, I'm dead. But okay. End step, draw. Another Duress. This is very nice. Upkeep. So Duress you. See what you're cooking with over there. Double Mox Devourer. So they're 1 mana away from killing me. Ugh. So I'm going to represent Naturalize, even though I don't have it. But I really need to just dodge land. Dodge. Yes! Excellent. Accumulating Knowledge. Draw 2. Prohibit, annul. Perfect. Now we're cooking. Tap my pool. Pool's tapped. If I duress this turn, I know I hit, but I also get to FOF on end step. The only awkward thing is that if we do, yeah, so here's FOF. If we do find Deed, then I can only pop it for 2, unless it comes along with a land. Oh, we got a W. My opponent says, I goofed. I should have sided out the combo. Totally forgot about Blessing. Oh, yeah. Because they can't mill me with the Altar. I was still playing around Fling. I think that's what they were trying to do. Obviously, the Altar doesn't really do anything. But, I mean, it could have shuffled away my AK so I don't draw 2. But, yeah, I mean, we were pretty well set up here. Like, we had FOF going. We had a no prohibit. So, we got 1. We got 1. Okay, look, they can't all be winners all the time, okay? But this deck was kind of fun. Even though I was losing a bunch, I kind of enjoyed every single one of my matches. We definitely need some more card advantage. I felt like I was flooding maybe a little bit way too much. So I feel like step number 1 would be to add more factor fictions. Maybe you don't actually need Naturalize since you're already maxing out of Deed. So you can throw the Naturalize in the sideboard, play the 4th FOF. Maybe something like Impulse could be interesting as well. I don't know, like, I'm not a huge fan of Impulse, but just to, like, smooth out draws, maybe I can add, like, 2 Impulses and cut a land and something else. So maybe there's something like that can be done to sort of prevent flooding while at the same time allowing me to hit my green sources, which are going to be interesting in certain matchups. But this minimal win condition package felt kind of nice. And also winning matches with Morphling just felt amazing. So there's that. But yeah, so I'm not thinking, obviously this deck list was bad, but I'm not entirely sure that this concept is bad, you know? So that's what I'm going to be trying out the next time I play something like this. Just more FOF, more cantrips, more stuff like that. I don't know if maybe Opt is just a little bit too bad or like too low impact, I guess. Maybe we should just cut all the Duresses or like leave only 2 Duresses in the main deck. The other 2 go to the sideboard and that can make room for some cantrips. Play 25 lands instead of 26 and just be like 1 Impulse, 1 Factor Fiction over here. Like 1 Impulse, I probably not the basic island, but like another Impulse and maybe like another Impulse here or something like that. And that should help me hit my land drops a little bit more reliably and prevent flooding a little bit by giving me more actual spells to cast. So that's definitely an idea that I'm gonna be messing around with. So this card's still great. This card is very, very good. It doesn't see enough play, and I'm gonna continue my quest to try to make it so it sees the play it deserves. Until then, until the next chapter, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button on the way up, on the way out. If you're interested in supporting my content, there are free ways that you can do so by just using my TCG Player and MetaTraders affiliate links. You can also find a 10% discount whenever you use my MetaTrader coupon code on your first 2 months. And if you would like to support my content directly, you can do so through Patreon. You can do so through donations. I can play any deck list of your choice for a donation of $30 or more. And finally, you can also book coaching if that's something that interests you as well. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video, folks. Take care. Bye-bye.